welcome back to Max Reaction. How are you doing today? Hopefully you're having a good day. I'm having a great day. I'm really excited. We have a baby boy coming real soon. It could happen any moment. So if you see me run off camera, you know where I went. I went to go watch my baby boy be born. Anyway, we're going to react to Memories of Forgotten. And you might ask, what is that? Well, we're talking about the Korean War here. And we're talking about the Philippines that helped in the Korean War, and a lot of these memories have been forgotten. A lot of these stories haven't been told. Without, armies like the Philippines and other countries, Korea would not be Korea today. It would be a different Korea, much worse Korea, communist Korea. So we need to remember these Filipinos that fought for Korea, and Koreans need to know today and need to be thankful today of the Philippines who fought for them. Sometimes they're not thankful, a lot of times they are thankful, but the stories need to be told. You guys need to know the stories. I need to know the stories. We all need to know the stories. So let's go ahead and check this video out together. Let's learn, let's remember, and let's not forget. So let's do this. Philippine Embassy, Seoul.
Summer of 1950 sparked the beginning of the Korean War.
Yeah.
In an effort to unite North and South Korea under one political rule, the Communist North invaded the Democratic South on June 25, 1950. The North Korean army pushed all the way south, past the 38th parallel,
They need help.
border that separates North and South Korea.
They need help.
The South, being outnumbered, called on the help of the United Nations. As a police action, the United Nations quickly responded by sending 16 nations to assist the South in battle.
Philippines being one of them.
On September 1950, the Philippine 10th Battalion combat team landed on the shores of Bhutan. However, very few people are aware of the stories of these gallant soldiers. The younger generation has all but forgotten this war, or doesn't even know it took place.
Time to remember.
Korean War was the first battle Filipinos fought outside their country. These are their memories, the memories of the forgotten.
Let's not forget.
Fresh from the Second World War in the Pacific, the Philippines began rebuilding itself from the ground up. But even after the Second World War, a resistance group known as the uphold was trying to rebuild the Philippine government in their own form. Already with his hands full, President L.P. Quirino had to make the difficult decision to send what few troops we had to Korea. It was in the Philippines' interest for the communists in Korea were to win. The Hope campaign would surely strengthen and end democracy in the Philippines.
Very well could have, very probably would have.
Thus, the Philippine Expeditionary Forces to Korea, or PEFTOC, was born. The Philippines deployed a total of 5 battalion combat teams over a 5-year period from 1950 to 1955 to join an international coalition tasked to defend the freedom of South Korea.
From Japan, we were deployed to the Korean battlefront through the Sasebo ferry from the southern tip of Japan to Busan, or now Busan, which is the southern logistics base of the Allied forces under General MacArthur. And we went up by train to the front lines where the 20th Battalion Combat Team was deployed north of the 38th parallel. That was the beginning of our Korean war experience.
But coming from a tropical climate, the troops were to experience new challenges never faced before in their homeland.
Cold. Lots of cold.
It was very cold. The
Yes.
coldest winter in 200 years, they say, even our canteens froze, and some of our engine blocks broke because the water that was in the radiator freezed, and after freezing, it expanded, so the engine block broke up.
And I can't, tell you how hard it is to get used to the cold, because I live in a climate where it's hot, sometimes even hotter in the Philippines in the summer, and then cold like Alaska sometimes. And I'm never used to the cold, and I've always lived here all my life. So I can't imagine, coming from the Philippines, it being the first, war for these Filipinos that was fought on a foreign soil, and experiencing not only the communists, but the weather, the cold along with it. Now that's a tough breed of people right there. Those are hearts of heroes, of legends, because like I said, the cold here, I never get used to it. I hate the cold. I absolutely hate the cold. If we get the chance to move to the Philippines one day, I'm embracing the sunshine. I know I'm gonna bake, but I'm embracing it. But like I said, these soldiers not only fighting the communists, they're fighting the weather too, and that's just tough.
I didn't have any jacket whatsoever, no? So when I arrived there, it was very cold, no? But of course, they were ready. They gave me a jacket immediately when I arrived there. I think it was evening when I arrived there, no? In Busan. No?
And how we survived that is before Captain Yap and Lieutenant Tiago were very resourceful. Sabi nila, why don't we just pull ourselves together around the truck and then cover up with our tent.
Yeah.
So we covered ourselves, all of us piled together. And through the heat of our bodies, we were able to survive. That's how we heated ourselves.
Body
We
heat.
have that experience winter in the Philippines. But the first time we experience is when we go to the latrine. The moment you put down your pants, you have to use the determination whether to continue or not, because as you pull your pants down, it presses your balls, so everything shrinks.
Lack of winter clothing. We don't have any winter clothing. What we have is the sweater and the field jacket. That's all we have. That's why when I was in Pyongyang, that was later on already, I was able to get a field trench coat, exchange it with a can of beer.
These men talking are
Eventually, the
heroes.
Filipinos pleaded their case to the United Nations Command. One of the battalion commanders, Colonel Mariano Azurin, reported forcefully about the battalion's lack of winter clothing. He was unfortunately relieved of his command. He was replaced by Colonel Janicio Ojeda. But the weather and the terrain were only a few of the problems faced by the Filipinos in Korea. By Christmas time, when victory was almost imminent for the United Nations, the Chinese People's Volunteer Army joined their communist brothers on the battlefield.
And I don't understand, how can the UN not provide, how can they not provide winter clothes, You ask these great men that just got over, another war to fight in this war, but you can't help and provide clothes? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It pisses me off.
This is the 500 peso bill, with former Senator Benigno Ninoy Aquino on the front, who is also the father of Philippine President Benigno Noynoy Aquino. At 17 years old, Ninoy Aquino was a war correspondent for the Manila Times newspaper. He often followed the Philippine battalion combat teams into battle. One of the articles he wrote still exists on the back of the 500 peso bill, where the 10th Battalion combat team crosses into Pyongyang to battle the communist threat. But hundreds of thousands of Chinese soldiers were rallying to assist their North Korean comrades.
Trying by
in this battle.
numbers. Trying by
The
numbers.
Filipinos faced a new threat in the Korean War.
But for a little while we thought the war stopped, but all of a sudden there was a plan of more communist soldiers to attack us. Just imagine, according to one of the soldiers that we talked to, for every rifle held by a Chinese soldier, 7 are there without, because the moment he gets down, the soldier behind him
Picks it up.
picks it and continue firing.
And
Can you imagine? You know you're on the brink of victory. There's very few communists left, and all of a sudden the numbers multiply by like 10. That's nuts. And like the man said, as soon as you kill one, the gun gets picked up. So it's just never ending, never ending. It just shows you what kind of warriors these men are and were.
we could hear the Chinese megaphones or microphones loudly and say, "We know you. You are Filipinos out there. We are not. We are friends. We don't want to fight you. This is not your war. This is the war between the North Koreans and the South Koreans and the Americans." That was the propaganda that they were saying. Well, the San Miguel Bear was the one who, San Miguel battle was the one who said Quezon City, part of Quezon City. Because, the roads in Korea were branching like hell, don't know where. I think it was not our company that was, it was, I think, Charlie Company from Sanchez. Don't know where to go, because we were told to evacuate. So, they don't know where to go, so they look around and they saw a battle of beer, San Miguel Beer, facing that way. So they followed that. That's how we found. That's how San Miguel Beer became popular there.
I remember that in the evening of that day, when we occupied a new line. I was staying in my bunker, and the lieutenant that I was supporting, I was providing artillery support, Lieutenant De La Cruz at that time, left his bunker, and though he joined me in my bunker, you know what happened?
What happened?
His bunker was hit by an artillery fire from the enemy, and his boy, yung kanyang messenger, got killed.
Oh.
And Lieutenant De La Cruz was very lucky, and
Very lucky.
he was so happy that he was inside my bunker. That is one again memory, that
Imagine
I'll never
that memory.
forget,
Philippine Ambassador Tirona. This is myself. And then President Ramos mentioned about north from there, 10 kilometers, his old battlefield at the Hill Erie. He commanded the second lieutenant and successfully take over to here, but none casualties. And when we were in our assault positions, I gave the signal with the use of a smoke grenade that we were about to assault, and that was also the signal for the lifting of all of the supporting artillery and tank fires. And we assaulted. And when you assault, you're going uphill, going through various clusters of barbed wire. You have to be extra careful. And as the platoon commander, I have to be very alert. I had to look around, I had to move fast, and I had to communicate, and I was doing 5 or 10 things at the same time. But that is the nature of being a commander in combat.
It just shows you how much they learn on the job, whether it be a new weather, new climate, a new You know, going uphill through barbed wire, you know, that's probably some stuff they hadn't encountered yet. So like he said, you got to do about 10 things at once. Just shows you the mind of a warrior to me. Very tough parade, man.
Move! Move! Move!
Get caught on the wire. Don't get caught on that wire. That'd be bad. Such a super important war.
Ubus na ang granada. Tuloy natin ang demolisyon. Subugin natin ang mga titirang bunkers. Go!
You lose this, communist spreads. Communism. Hand-to-head in combat. We know Filipinos know how to do hand-to-hand, don't we? Kali and all those others. Lots of explosives. Gotta take the top down, the hill. Position, position, position.
The Filipinos, along with their allies, were forced into a stalemate. From 1951 onwards, neither side could regain control of the Korean peninsula.
Wow.
The Philippines is the 8th United Nations member country to send a battalion combat team to Korea. Its ground troops were attached to the 3rd United States Division after 2 weeks adaptation training when it arrived in Busan on September 19, 1950. Philippine troops were first stationed to secure the rear area behind the lines. Later, from March 1951, they were assigned to defensive front areas.
Woo! Front line.
During the war, the Philippines replaced its unit 4 times from their homeland, and the battalion operated a patrol range from Kaesong to Pyongyang. As the war became stalemated, the Philippine battalion fought bravely against North Korea and Chinese Communist forces in such regions as Yudong, north of Yeoncheon, and the Arsenal area outpost, Mount Baeksok, and Christmas Hill. After the armistice agreement was signed on July 27, 1953, the Philippines battalion was withdrawn from Korea in May 1955. The Philippines sent a total of 7,420 participants to Korea.
5 years.
And 112 of them sacrificed their lives for freedom and peace in Korea.
112. Need to be remembered for sure.
I think that it's not just me. I can't get the credit for that. But one thing is that I was so proud that they went there. They fought a war, and you know, and also it's also for our country because we were very close to the Americans. That even up to now we're still close to them. I love the Filipino soldiers because I believe that they were fighting for our country. And they loved me. And the respect that they gave me. Because when they came back here, they looked forward that I would meet them. All of them, the 10th BCT, the 20th BCT, every time that they would come home, they looked for me. And so I made sure that I was always there.
If the people remember me that I fought for the Philippines, it's alright. If they don't, it's alright. I'm happy that I served. So,
The Korean government has donated at least $300,000 already, no? For a scholarship program, no? For the benefit of the sons and daughters and descendants, no? Of the Korean War veterans, no? $300,000 already, no? In addition to this, we have the so-called Revisit to Korea program, no? It started, I think, in 1975, no? And every year they invite, no? The Korean government invites, no? Korean War veterans from maybe 5 countries every year, no?
At least they're being
And they join
recognized.
the Korean War veterans there in observance of the Korean War, no? That's how generous, no? How I would put the Koreans, no? That hopefully, therefore, the younger Korean generation would pick up, no? And also continue, no?
Yeah, they need to remember.
Recognizing the
They need to remember.
heroic exploits, no? Of the 16 countries, no? That send combat troops to Korea.
All of us went there. Some of that not voluntary. The first batch talagang it was not voluntary. It was an order to us to go there. Well, I have no choice because I benefited from the training that the US and the Philippine government gave me to Fort Knox, Kentucky. I have to repay them without me asking for ano. But overall, the veterans of World War I, World War II, World Korea should have been taken care of by not way of ano, but supporting their children, their grandchildren, educating them. That's all. Not necessarily monetary. So that they'll be proud that when they studied because it is the fruit of their forefathers who fought during the wars that has passed. You know?
Well, we would like them to know what really happened in Korea and what kind of role we played
Absolutely.
during the, in order to bring back the kind of freedom and democracy in that country.
Absolutely, sir.
But how, I am sure that the younger generation now would like to know that because many of this younger generation, their fathers or their grandfathers, were part of that particular
Right.
role that we
Right.
played
Doesn't that pump you up?
to defend South Korea, to defend the freedom and the democratic principles of South Korea at the time. Fighting for the same values and for the same principles to keep our country free. It is possible that among the younger ones now, not having experienced those hardships and those challenges, may not very well appreciate
Well, that's sad. That's sad to hear,
nature
but
of soldiering
it's true.
or the nature of public service. But I say to them, study the history of your elders, of your forebears,
Absolutely.
all the way back to our Philippine struggle for independence against Spain and against the Americans. And I'm sure that each young Filipino making that effort will learn and value the freedom, the advantages,
What a wise man.
the relative peace that we now enjoy. After all, it was for peace and sustainable development that we fought for the benefit of the younger ones after us, so that during their time, they will not go through the same hardships and sacrifices anymore. If we are able to accomplish all of that and provide for the younger people like you now who are our successor generations, then we can really say that we have accomplished our mission.
Oh yes, you did. So.
Okay?
And I can't say it any more than what he just said it, you know. They did it for the younger generation that have their freedoms, you know. And like he said, some of you that's probably watching this reaction, you know, you have a good chance of maybe being related to some of these men that fought on this foreign soil for not only your freedoms, but the world's freedoms. Because if you let the communists spread back then, who knows what today would hold. But it would be a much worse world, in my opinion, than it is now. You know, we have our struggles today, but I think the struggles would be 10 times worse, 100 times worse now. But, you know, can't let the memories be forgotten. Just like the title said, you can't let them forget. You gotta, you know, experience videos like this that you can gain knowledge on, and then, you know, tell somebody. Tell the younger generation. When you get older, have them tell the younger generation, and let it spread, because you can learn a lot from history like this. So it was awesome to see these war veterans of the Philippines speak from their own mind and their own experiences, and we could kind of live through their words and experience what they did just through their words on a very, very minor scale. And that's what he was saying. He wants you to know what they went through, so we could have what we have today. So absolutely amazing. Loved it. Learned. Hopefully you learned some. That's why I react to, you know, this type of stuff. Many other reactors don't, but I love history, and we're going to keep learning history because we can't let it be forgotten. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Those are my feelings. Those are my reactions. What's yours? Comment down below. Let me know. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you liked the reaction. If you didn't, well, hit it anyway. I don't care. Anyway, peace.